20th April. Sri Maharshi's health is causing grave anxiety to the 3 doctors who have been in constant attendance on him, as well as to the devotees. A lady devotee wept much and went to him in tears and asked him to give her his disease and be cured of it, saying, "Bhagavan, you who are curing others, must cure yourself and spare your life for us, your devotees." Once, twice he waved her off, and seeing her great concern, finally replied with great tenderness, "Why are you so much attached to this body? Let it go." At about 5 p.m, the local police officials and Mrs. T approached Sri Maharshi and explained to him all the arrangements they had made for the opening ceremony of the temple erected by this lady over the Patala Lingam. They wanted to know the year in which the first photograph of his was taken at Tiruvannamalai and a few other details. Sri Maharshi replied, "It was taken 4 years after my coming, i.e. in 1900. Originally, that lingam was on the surface of the ground like all other samadhis before the big temple was built, but in course of time the ground level rose. When much later the 1,000-pillar mantapam was built about 4 or 5 feet higher than the ordinary level, the lingam sunk still lower, so much that it earned for itself the name Patala, underground lingam. In those days I was alone with the elephant, which was always tied in the mantapam. They prostrated and left, but Sri Bhagavan continued his reminiscences. I stayed about 6 months in the big temple, in which Patala Lingam occupies a small corner. September 1896 to March 1897, in all the places in it. Urchins used to run after me, and when I hid myself in Patala Lingam, they used to pelt me with stones and potsherds from outside, none of which however could reach me, as I used to sit in the southeast corner. The urchins never dared to come in, because of the extreme darkness in the pit, and the broken steps which could not be seen from above. 24th April. Radium has been applied to Sri Maharshi's wound for the first time today. Everyone is depressed, but Sri Bhagavan himself is as jovial as ever, though visibly weaker. At 3 p.m, Mr. Kalyana Sundaram, a devotee and an ex-ashram worker, brings him a postcard from his brother, in which the latter inquires after Maharshi's health and asks whether the master had that morning undergone the 3rd operation, to which Maharshi replied, "No, it is not an operation, but radium application. The lump is growing from inside like a lingam, but it is giving me no trouble. I am feeling no pain, nor any inconvenience. The doctors have taken some slough from it and have sent it to America to see if they can use radium or not, but no answer has so far come. There are 2 kinds of tumours, malignant and non-malignant. Whatever it may be, it will take time to heal. Why worry?" After a few minutes, attendant Venkataratnam goes to inquire on his own initiative and returns to inform Bhagavan that no slough has been sent to America, at which Maharshi exclaims, "Is that so?" and waves his hand to indicate his indifference. We all smiled at his ingenuousness. 27th April 1949. Last night at 6:30 p.m, Sri Ramaya arrived with Dr. Nambiar and Dr. T.N.K., all our old devotees. Sri Ramaya approached the sofa and cautiously inquired, "What is this? A boil on Bhagavan's elbow?" Sri Maharshi replied, "Yes, I told them not to cut it, but the doctors insisted that it should be removed. Let it be, it will be all right, and continued to talk cheerfully to the three of them. The two doctors advised him not to move the arm and disturb the radium, nor to touch it with the other hand. He waved them off with his right hand, as if to say, "Why all this fuss?" At 5:20 p.m. today, as soon as Maharshi returned from his evening walk and sat, he switched on the table fan by his side and started reading some notes. Attendant Satyananda started fanning his back. Sri Maharshi asked him to stop it, which he immediately did. A little later, Attendant Venkataratnam, who had just arrived, quietly slipped behind the master, who by now got absorbed in reading, and fanned him. Soon Sri Bhagavan noticed it and turned squarely on Venkata. "Oho! How great is your bhakti! Look how skillfully you came behind me and fanned me. Aha! If your bhakti is so great, why don't you go and fan all these devotees? Rumba Vishayam Rumba Sari, oho! Very important, excellent." Thus he taunted and railed at him. Then he turned this way and that to complain against VR for full 10 minutes. After about an hour, on seeing T.P. Ramachandra, the lawyer, sitting by the side of the attendants, he repeated the whole scene to him. "Look at the great devotion of this man, VR. Although this morning I had protested against anyone fanning me, in the evening he skillfully went behind my back while I was engaged in reading and fanned me. I told him if he had so much devotion for me, he should also fan all these my devotees. It is said that service to the devotees is as meritorious as service to the Guru." Turning to VR, "Yes, go and do it. He thinks his tapas to be so powerful as to compel me to bend to his will. Rumba naladu aha rumba sari. Very good, excellent." 1st May. Last night at about 9 o'clock, 3 doctors came from Madras and took X-ray photos of Maharshi's arm. This morning 2 more joined them. They decided to remove the radium and watch the effect. It has for the present arrested the growth to a great extent. About a week ago they were unanimous in their recommendation to amputate the arm, but Dr. Raghavachari, the surgeon, advised the use of radium first. Today, however, he found amputation unavoidable, and at 4:45 p.m. he saw Sri Maharshi alone in the bathroom and told him, "I want to be frank with Bhagavan, so that he may know the real position from the medical point of view and direct us. There are 2 ways of finishing this case. The first is scooping out the flesh right down to the bone, which will render that hand practically unusable. The other is surer and safer, namely amputation of the whole left arm from the shoulder. It is now for Bhagavan to decide." Maharshi paused for a few seconds and replied, "As I let you look after your body, you will please let me look after mine," which made 1 or 2 devotees standing within earshot go aside and sob, for they felt that that decision of his amounted to a death sentence. Maharshi then walked back to the hall with supreme indifference. 2nd May 1949. The temple bell went on tolling till noon with beating of drums, loud prayers and puja, officially closing the Kumbha Abhishekam ceremony, which started on the 14th March. At 5:15 p.m., Maharshi and Devaraja Mudalia talk about a Tamil book which has been translated into English. Bhagavan tells a story from it. A traveller passed by a brook and sat by its side for rest. He saw a leaf drop from a tree. Half of it fell in the water, and the other half on the land. The former turned into a fish, and the latter into a bird, and the two started pulling each other. While the traveller was puzzling over this phenomenon, a demon swooped on him and lifted him up to his abode, where there were 999 other men who had been similarly kidnapped. They were men who had fallen from the path of virtue and piety. They had been very well treated and sumptuously fed by the demon, their host, till the newcomer brought their number to 1,000, when the demon prepared them all for a sacrifice to his god. The men started vehemently abusing the newcomer for being the cause of their imminent death. Dire dread made them direct their minds towards God, Lord Subramaniam, who then appeared, killed the demon, and saved them. On the 30th night, the doctors gave Maharshi blood transfusion, about 20 ounces, which continued from 10:30 p.m. till 2 a.m. He refused to take another bottle of it, because it would interfere with his usual program of going out at 5:30 a.m.